Welcome, brave souls, to a journey into the darkest corners of our world. Tonight, we uncover 5 of the most haunted houses, places where shadows move on their own, whispers fill the empty halls, and the past refuses to rest. Are you ready? Let's begin. The Winchester Mystery House, California, USA. Our story begins in the late 1800s with Sarah Winchester, widow of William Wirt Winchester, heir to the Winchester repeating arms fortune. After the sudden deaths of her infant daughter and husband, Sarah sought solace from a medium, but what she heard would drive her to a lifetime of construction and torment. The medium claimed that Sarah's family was cursed, haunted by the vengeful spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle. To escape them, Sarah was told she must build, continuously, a house that would confuse the spirits and give them no rest. And so, in 1886, Sarah purchased an 8-room farmhouse in San Jose, California, and began expanding it into the sprawling, mind-bending mansion we see today. For 38 years, construction never ceased. Day and night, workers hammered, sawed, and built at her command. But the result was far from ordinary. The Winchester Mystery House became a maze of over 160 rooms, with secret passageways, twisting corridors, and design elements that defied logic. Stairs led to dead ends, doors opened to sheer drops, and windows overlooked other rooms. Was this chaotic design a desperate attempt to evade the spirits? Or was Sarah's mind unraveling under the weight of her grief and guilt? Visitors to the house report more than just architectural oddities. Many claim it is a portal to the supernatural. Staff and tourists alike have heard disembodied footsteps echoing through the halls. Others have felt icy hands graze their shoulders. And then there are those who swear they've seen Sarah herself. A ghostly figure roaming the halls, still building, still searching for peace. But perhaps the most chilling mystery of all lies in the house's infamous seance room. A small, claustrophobic space where Sarah supposedly communed with the spirits, seeking guidance on her endless construction. To this day, the room remains a focal point for paranormal activity, with visitors reporting inexplicable cold spots and strange, otherworldly whispers. In 1922, Sarah Winchester passed away in her sleep. Construction on the house stopped immediately, but the questions and the hauntings remain. Was she a victim of grief, preyed upon by charlatans and her own guilt? Or was she truly tormented by the spirits of the slain? The Winchester Mystery House stands today as a chilling testament to one woman's obsession and the secrets she took to her grave. A place where the line between the living and the dead is blurred, and where every creak of the floorboards might just be a spirit, still wandering its endless halls. The ancient Ram in Gloucestershire, England. Tucked away in the quiet village of Watton-under-Edge, England, stands a building so drenched in legend and blood-curdling lore that even the bravest dare not linger after dark. This is the ancient Ram Inn, a place where history, mystery, and horror intertwine. The ancient Ram Inn was built in 1145, initially serving as housing for masons and workers constructing St. Mary's Church nearby. But this building was never destined to be ordinary. Legend has it that the inn was constructed on a site of pagan rituals, complete with ley lines, powerful spiritual paths said to connect ancient monuments like Stonehenge. And beneath its foundation, the remains of a 5,000-year-old pagan burial ground. Throughout its nearly 900-year history, the ancient Ram Inn has been a witness to violence, tragedy, and inexplicable occurrences. Ownership passed through many hands, each seeming to add another layer to its cursed reputation. But perhaps none are more infamous than John Humphreys, the late owner who spent decades preserving the inn and battling the spirits within. John Humphreys often spoke of his chilling experiences within these walls. He claimed to have discovered evidence of witchcraft, including a sacrificial dagger. But it was what he unearthed in the cellar that truly haunts the imagination. Skeletal remains of children, along with evidence suggesting ritual sacrifice, the ancient Ram Inn is home to a host of spectral inhabitants. One of the most infamous is the spirit of a witch who was allegedly burned at the stake in the 1500s. She is said to haunt the witch's room, filled with an overwhelming sense of dread that drives visitors to flee. Then there's the dark monk. Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure stalking the halls, its oppressive presence enough to bring grown men to tears. And in the bishop's room, accounts of ghostly apparitions, sudden poltergeist activity, and even the sensation of being strangled in your sleep. But perhaps the most terrifying accounts come from those who leave the inn, only to find that something has followed them home. The ancient Ram Inn is more than just a haunted house. It's a gateway, a thin veil between our world and something far darker. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain. Stepping into this place leaves a mark. The Monte Cristo Homestead, New South Wales, Australia. Built in 1884 by wealthy cattle ranchers Christopher and Elizabeth Crawley, the Monte Cristo homestead quickly became a symbol of power and prosperity. But underneath the Crawley family's gilded lifestyle, darkness festered. The homestead's history is marred by tragedy, cruelty, and death. Elizabeth Crawley, the matriarch of the family, was known for her iron will and unwavering piety. But rumors swirled that she ruled the household with a cold, merciless hand. After her husband's death in 1910, Elizabeth rarely left the house. She lived in near-total isolation, and some say her spirit never left. The Monte Cristo homestead has borne witness to unspeakable horrors. One of the most chilling tales is that of the housemaid who plummeted to her death from the balcony. Was it an accident, or something far more sinister? Then there was the stable boy, burned alive by his cruel master. To this day, visitors report smelling burning flesh near the stables. But perhaps the most disturbing tale is that of the Crawleys' infant daughter, who was dropped down the stairs by a careless nanny. Her cries of anguish are said to echo through the halls on quiet nights. Over the decades, countless visitors have experienced chilling encounters at Monte Cristo. Disembodied whispers, unexplained cold spots, and even apparitions of the Crawley family have been reported. Is the Monte Cristo homestead merely a relic of a tragic past, or does it harbor a malevolent force that refuses to be silenced? Some believe the land itself is cursed, trapping the spirits of those who perished here. Chateau de Brissac, nestled in the heart of the Loire Valley, France, lies a fortress that has seen centuries of bloodshed, betrayal, and tragedy. This is Chateau de Brissac, a majestic castle, once the home to nobility, now shrouded in a dark and disturbing history. But behind its beautiful stone walls and ornate windows, a sinister force lurks, one that has haunted this place for generations. It was here, in these very halls, that a horrific crime occurred in 1496. The Duke of Brissac, a man named Charles de Brissac, came home to a scene that would forever stain the chateau's legacy. His wife, Isabel, was caught in the act of adultery with one of the Duke's trusted servants. Consumed by rage and betrayal, Charles murdered both of them in cold blood, in a frenzy that echoed through the walls. Isabel's spirit, broken and furious, was said to have never left Chateau de Brissac. Her restless soul wanders the halls, her presence felt most strongly in the night. They say her ghost, dressed in a flowing green gown, haunts the chateau to this day, searching for her killer, forever cursed to roam the corridors. The Green Lady, as she's come to be known, is said to appear in the chateau's grand rooms and cold hallways, her glowing figure a symbol of vengeance. Guests and staff alike have reported hearing her eerie sobs, the sound of her footsteps echoing in empty halls. Some claim to have even seen her ghostly figure standing at the top of the grand staircase, her eyes filled with sorrow and rage. But Isabel is not the only spirit that wanders these halls. The chateau is cursed by its violent history. Over the centuries, several other tragic events unfolded here. Murders, betrayals, and whispers of a bloodline doomed by its own sins. In the 19th century, the chateau was used as a location for darker, occult rituals. Some say the family dabbled in forbidden practices, and that they awoke something ancient and malevolent. In the bowels of the chateau lies a wine cellar, where even the bravest refuse to go. Legend has it that in this very place, the spirits of those murdered here, Isabel and the many others who met their end within the castle's walls, are trapped. Their souls are said to be bound to the very stone, unable to escape. And some claim that, on rare occasions, the smell of blood and death still lingers in the air. So, what is the truth behind the haunting of Chateau de Brissac? Is it a curse, a restless spirit, or something darker, a force that continues to feed on the fear and death of centuries past? The LaLaurie Mansion, New Orleans, USA. The story begins in 1831, when the elegant and ambitious Madame Delphine LaLaurie, along with her third husband, Dr. Louis LaLaurie, moved into this grand mansion on Royal Street. From the outside, their home was the epitome of refinement. Lavish parties, dazzling chandeliers, and the finest guests graced their halls. But behind closed doors, rumors began to swirl of something far darker. In a time when slavery was a grim reality in the South, even by those horrific standards, whispers of Madame LaLaurie's cruelty toward her enslaved servants spread like wildfire. Some called her eccentric, others a monster. April 10, 1834. Smoke poured from the LaLaurie mansion as a fire broke out in the kitchen. When authorities arrived, they discovered the unimaginable. An elderly enslaved woman, chained to the stove, admitted to starting the fire in a desperate attempt to escape the torment within these walls. What they uncovered was a house of horrors. Men and women mutilated beyond recognition, their bodies twisted in grotesque ways. Some were locked in cages, others suspended by iron collars, and still others subjected to medical experiments so unspeakable they defy comprehension. The public was outraged. A mob descended on the mansion, intent on revenge. The LaLauries fled into the night, never to return. But their legacy of terror lingers within these walls. Today, the LaLaurie Mansion is considered one of the most haunted locations in America. Visitors and workers alike have reported disembodied screams, the clinking of chains, and the eerie feeling of being watched. These houses are more than just buildings. They are prisons for restless spirits, monuments to tragedy, and reminders of the unknown. Would you dare to step inside? Let us know in the comments which haunted house you'd visit if you dare. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling tales. Until next time, sleep tight,